I have a lot of work ahead of me involving filling up all these water bottles for drinking, filling up this tub to do some hand washing. It is right around 4:50 p.m. on Monday, April 21st, 2025. There's someone smoking in the bathroom of 78, which is located directly behind this wall. There is a very disturbed, obsessive, severely psychotic sex offender and pedophile named Jasmine Irizarry constantly sitting in the bathroom directly behind this wall. And Irizarry at this time is doing what she has been doing for almost 11 and a half years continuously, which is deliberately propagating intense and sickening amounts of smoke and fumes that always smell the same and that always come from this area right here in intense amounts that force me to open the window. It is 50 degrees outside. It's not that warm and it looks like it's going to rain. But because of the smoke and fumes that Irizarry is using to dox her physical presence in the vacant, unrented premises of the almost always unrented bathroom behind this wall, I've had to open the window and my voice is scratchy. I'm having a hard time talking. I am easily affected by smoke because I have never smoked. I have never smoked anything. I do not do drugs, and I certainly don't smoke or drink. Those things make me sick, so I don't do them. It's not like a religious belief. So right now, I'm trying to fill up water bottles for drinking. I have a busy day ahead of me tomorrow. I would like to have a few bottles of water in my bag when I'm out and about. And all of a sudden, there's practically no water coming out of this tap, even though the tap knobs are at full volume and pressure. But there's plenty of water coming out of the tap in the bathroom down the hall. There's no pressure issues with the taps in the bathroom down the hall. And this water right here stinks like vomit. It has been stinking like vomit continuously for the last 15 minutes, but it smelled perfectly fine earlier today when I wasn't trying to use it to fill up water bottles that I would then drink from. The water only starts to stink when I'm trying to fill up bottles that I would drink from or trying to rinse off my face, my eyes, sensitive body parts that are vulnerable to infection, and to drink it. Brushing my teeth is also another instance when the water to this tap and to my shower and my my bathroom tap stink, either like vomit, like someone's filthy feet. And I never go barefoot in this unit, so my feet are always in shoes. The smell is not coming from my feet. My feet are very clean, and I use rubbing alcohol to spray my feet down twice a day, if not more. My feet do not smell. The smell comes from the water. So just to demonstrate, there's hardly any water coming out of that tap. But hey, guess what? The tap in the bathroom down the hall is like a geyser right now. So... And there's no smoke or fumes coming from the hallway, so my voice is being made all scratchy due to the fact that there's intense smoke and fumes coming from someone who sits obsessively like a disgusting piece of shit in the bathroom of 78, where she engages in constant harassment in multiple forms and in multiple methods of delivery. She uses directed energy weapons to electronically assault me. She uses the deliberate propagation of sickening amounts of smoke and fumes to fill my living space, so I then have to open the windows. The smoke and fumes do not come from the hallway. It's fresh, clean air. I don't smell any smoke here at all. And again, the taps in this bathroom, full volume and pressure. Check this out. Plenty of water. Yeah, it's a good strong flow right there. Plenty of water coming out of this tap. Yeah, look at all that water. There's way more water coming out of this tap, even with the shower going, than there is coming out of my kitchen tap with none of the other taps going. There is more water coming out of this tap right now. As you can see, the thickness, the flow, the power of the water is like twice of what is coming out of my kitchen sink right now. And this tap has more water coming out of it now, even with the shower going, than my kitchen tap does, with none of the other taps in my unit being on. Yeah, see all that water? Plenty of water. So the lack of water coming out of my kitchen tap right now that is extremely unusual. I mean, that tap is usually like a geyser. Is not an accident. It is deliberate. And again, when there's a piece of shit like Irizarry sitting in a bathroom of 78, perving, creeping, interfering with the delivery of utilities to this unit, and deliberately doxing her physical presence by filling this entire corner right here with sickening amounts of marijuana cigar smoke that are making my voice sound like I'm the one who's smoking it, then we have not just a situation on our hands, but deliberate, harmful harassment, and something that I can take to court to file a personal injury lawsuit against the Greenville Group. I'm not a smoker. I never have been. But my voice right now is so scratchy due to the smoke that I've been inhaling all afternoon that I've had to open the window, and I sound like I'm the one who's a smoker right now. I cannot fabricate this type of damage to my vocal cords. That is happening even though I don't want it to. I'm actually trying to speak clearly, and I can't because of the damage to my voice right now from Jasmine Irizarry's deliberate and constant propagation of intense, overpowering amounts of marijuana and cigar smoke that always come from behind this wall right here because Oleg Alexeyev, the presumed pedophile property manager, and I say that because he defends, houses, and harbors an unusually large number of pedophiles in this building and has repeatedly refused to remove Jasmine Irizarry, a registered pedophile, from this building in spite of multiple complaints that I've filed with Mr. Oleg Alexeyev over the last few years regarding his use of Jasmine Irizarry as an instrument of deliberate and malicious landlord-tenant harassment. He refuses to do anything about Irizarry, the pedophile, and he refused to do anything about Jason DaCosta, the pedophile, until the police had to get involved and the courts and remove Mr. DaCosta from Unit 88, where he was loudly making dirty comments about my little teen nieces, of whom he should have no knowledge. Mr. DaCosta also made it a habit of loudly masturbating against this wall right here whenever I would come out of my bathroom after showering or using the toilet, and Mr. DaCosta repeatedly called my phone and left messages claiming that he could see what I do in here, that he watches me when I sleep, and that he wanted to murder me. Mr. Alexeyev refused to remove Jason DaCosta from Unit 88 until the courts got involved. Mr. DaCosta is a sex offender, so he does have to be moved if he's threatening the life and well-being of not just myself, but children who he seems to target. Little teen girls are children. It doesn't matter what they look like. They are young children, you pathetic pedophile scum. So Irizarry is one of them, and Mr. Alexeyev has repeatedly defended Jasmine Irizarry, praised her abilities as a talented hacker who can get into anything, and other staffers at the Greenville Group have referred to Irizarry, the disgusting, stinking pedophile pig, as their IT expert and their surveillance expert. That means that Irizarry, as she has claimed, is able to affect the quality of the water to this tap based on what I try to do with it and when I try to do it. So right now, there's barely any water coming out of this tap, as you can see. It's a trickle, and there's no other taps running in this unit right now. I don't have any of the taps in my bathroom running. So, the shower's off. There's no water that is taking away from the water that is coming out of my kitchen sink. And due to damage to my vocal cords over the long term and constant and right now acute exposure to Jasmine Irizarry's deliberate propagation of sickening amounts of smoke and fumes straight through this wall. People keep saying that smoke doesn't go through walls. Sure it does, especially if there's cracks and holes in the drywall, as there are on this entirety of this part right here. You can see them. Then, of course, smoke can go through drywall, especially if part of the drywall on the other side of this unit is not actually drywall. It is a sink and a shower stall. That means that fat, disgusting, child-molesting pig is sitting in a shower stall. That's sad. And maybe that's why the smoke and fumes are so intense, because the shower stall is acting like a conductor cabin that literally just propagates the smoke into this area right here. And she's also continued to use a directed energy weapon that she herself has claimed to using in writing on social media. And I've been trying to relax this afternoon. I worked all day yesterday, and I'm trying to relax. And that pedophile pig is deliberately smoking on the other side of this wall, even as I'm standing here talking about her in this video. She's a piece of shit that Mr. Alexeyev, who seems to have a mad, passionate love affair for pedophile scum, maybe because he's one himself, is deliberately refusing to remove from this building, even though she's clinically insane and is a psychopath who tries to kill people. Do the math on that one, folks. Why would a property manager refuse to remove a homicidal pedophile psychopath like Jasmine Irizarry from a residential building where tenants such as myself have to pay full market value for their residential unit? This is not a Section 8 unit. I'm not getting any assistance for this unit. It is being paid in full, in cash, every week. This is not a Section 8 unit. I don't know about anybody else on this floor. I am not a Section 8 recipient. So the property manager, by deliberately using Jasmine Irizarry as an instrument of malicious and ongoing landlord-tenant harassment, is guilty of many things, including racketeering and fraud. And I will file a RICO case against the Greenville Group. It is like my sexual fantasy to file a RICO case against the Greenville Group for their sexual crimes against me, because there are deliberately placed surveillance devices in my bathroom, in my living space, around this bed, that allow a pedophile sex offender like Jasmine Irizarry and the violent, masturbating piece of shit directly below in 76. They act a lot like each other, but I have no way of knowing whether they are the same person or not. They're being provided with footage of what I do in my bathroom and on my bed, even though I don't do anything weird when I'm lying on my bed. I know there's surveillance devices in this unit. I keep my clothes on at all times, even when I'm showering. So these pieces of shit are doxing the use of surveillance devices by becoming violent when I do normal things on my bed, like lying down on it on my back. These stupid pieces of shit think that I am like hypersexual. Are you kidding? I don't do anything remotely related to that area because, again, this is not a private living space. It is a public forum, and I keep getting reminded of that by the violent slamming and banging, deliberate smoke propagation, and deliberate use of a harmful, very dangerous directed energy device that Jasmine Irizarry has admitted to using on social media. I am getting reminded of the fact that there are surveillance devices in this unit every single day when I try to use my toilet, when I remove any item of clothing for any amount of time, and these pieces of pedophile sex offender scum that are being harbored by Mr. Elisayev as part of his personal agenda against women, I guess. They get violent and aggressive when I do anything that requires the removal of clothing at any point and at any time. And it happens every single time, which means that these pieces of shit have no lives. They spend their entire wasted, masturbating lives sitting around in an empty room, perving on a phone screen that really doesn't show that much because I do not remove my clothing. I don't sleep naked. I don't walk around in my underwear. I only remove my clothing at the last minute when I have been showering for 15 or 20 minutes and I do have to rinse off. That's when I remove my clothing. And that's when the violence, the use of a directed energy weapon, and a tremendous amount of smoke and fumes is always coming from the area behind this wall, because that's where that disgusting, hideous, deformed pig, Jasmine Irizarry, likes to sit for hours at a time and obsessively hate stalk everything I do. And there's still no water coming out of this tap. Look at this. Because I'm using it to try to get ready for my work tomorrow. And the pieces of shit in this building have a serious problem with me having any kind of employment because they are too disgusting and deficient, dysregulated, and deliberately pieces of shit to have any jobs. The rejected BLM filth in this building will never have employment. And that's why what they do is try to tear down everybody else's jobs, lives, and anything that anyone has built. BLM are psycho trash. They don't do anything to help anybody. They go after people who they think have more than them and try to destroy everything that those people have built and worked for. But it doesn't work because shit never wins. And BLM are nothing but pieces of shit. Martin Luther King Jr. would be embarrassed to know that the BLM, offshoot of his movement are doing what they're doing. They're basically embezzling millions of donor dollars on strippers, hookers, and what they're doing to me, which is hate stalking women who they think owe them sexual favors and obviously don't want to deliver the goods. BLM are sick and twisted pedophiles, sex offenders, career thugs, and hate stalking no-life lowlifes that will never have jobs because they deliberately live their lives as scumbags. That's not my problem. That's theirs. It's also Mr. Eliseyev's problem because I will be filing a RICO case against the Greenville Group for what keeps happening in this unit that prevents me from being able to use the tap. When I need to use the tap, the water still stinks. It smells so foul. You don't want to go near that tap right now, but there's plenty of clean water coming out of the taps in the bathroom down the hall. And my voice is so affected by the smoke that I've been breathing in all afternoon from that bathroom that I keep having to leave the window wide open and I can barely speak right now. That's not me. That's the Greenville Group deliberately engaging in malicious and constant landlord-tenant harassment. I just left them a voicemail at 4:50 p.m., which was 10 minutes ago. And of course, they're so incompetent, they can't answer the phone during normal business hours. Yeah, you know who you're dealing with when nobody answers the phone during a workday.